Yo, what's up, YouTube? Hey, today it's time to farm Twitter for content. Yeah, nothing new. This is Ryan Hart, one of the OG goats of the FGC, and he asked, what FGC opinion will you defend like this? And basically everyone was replying to this thread. There's a lot of, I would say, like, not hot takes here. You know, if you see a picture like this, you're definitely thinking like hot take. But we definitely got some really interesting takes, and I kind of want to talk about a few of them because I think it leads to some very interesting discussion. And so let's start with the one I commented on, which is from High Tone. So Tone is a player I know him from Sage Game Slam. I've actually met him IRL during the Street Fighter Sage Game Slam. He's trying to learn Street Fighter as well. Pretty cool dude. And he says, nobody's talented. Everyone can become the best if they put in as much work as Atif, Arslan, and Asia. Atif and Arslan being two of the best Tekken 8 players in the world. And pro players are good because of dedication and work ethic. And I kind of ratioed them. I just wanted to make a meme post. So this is like, you guys are probably see this is a panel from Baki, which is someone who works hard can never beat someone who enjoys himself, which I truly believe, right? And I don't think people like really understood the route I was going with this picture. Really, I think that some people are wired different, right? Like, I do think that even if I trained as much as I could, I probably would not be as good as LeBron James, right? Because I do not have, he got like at least a foot on me, right? LeBron height. Wait, I'm not actually that short. I don't want to out myself. I'm not actually that short. Yeah, 6'9". He got 9 inches on me. I'm 6 foot. Way more athletic, that sort of thing. So there's obviously like a talent component. But I think, especially when it comes to fighting games, or when I think of chess, which is a lot more well studied, I really do not think the talent component is much as, I actually don't believe it's actually that much of a thing. Because like when people call me talented and they're like, Diaphone, how can you pick up a game so fast? How can you learn this character so fast? It's because I've been doing it for so long, right? It's because I have years and years of experience, and people equate all this time they didn't see me playing fighting games and grinding shit out, and like I've been playing games since a kid. And that kind of like coalesces into where I'm at now, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're just talented." Well, realistically, it's like one, because I've played a lot, and I started playing as a kid, not fighting games, but just like general. I used to play a lot of video games as a kid, and I also just legitimately enjoy it, right? I think when you look at people like Sonic, when you look at people like other top competitors, they would do this shit for free, right? They're in Discords talking about the game when they're not streaming, when they're not competing. They're thinking about the game constantly, right? And for some people, I really do think it's a lot easier for them to, if it's something that comes natural to you and it's something that you don't have to work at, the person that's driven by passion that also works hard is always going to beat the person that's just like a mercenary and only works hard. And I think that's like, most people in the FGC like do have passion, right? Like if you're just wanting to work hard, like go get a fucking like engineering degree or a doctor degree, or go be a lawyer, right? Like we're not like really outworking people here, because we're mostly driven by passion. The other thing I'd say is, like, if you look at the best chess players, right, it's because they started really, really early. Where was that? Like Magnus Carlsen as a kid, right? Magnus Carlsen is like the GOAT as a kid, and like, yeah, here we go. Yeah, young Magnus Carlsen was very good at chess. It's because he started playing when he was really young. You look at some of the best players, like Tiger Woods started when he's like 4 years old. A lot of these chess prodigies start when they're really, really young. And the fact that like Magnus Carlsen has 30 years of experience on someone like me learning chess, yeah, it's gonna leave me at a pretty big disadvantage, right? Do I consider myself more talented or hardworking? I do think there's like some talent aspect, but I'm not sure how much of the, how do I put this, of my skill is related to the fact that I just played a bunch. I have many years of experience in fighting games, and I also like grew up playing a shit ton of video games, so it's kind of hard to tell. And I also just like legitimately like fighting games. When I see, like, when I go on Twitter and like people just bitch and complain about fighting games like all the time, and I'm just like, bro, I don't give a shit. Like I turn off the stream and I just play more fighting games. Like, how do I just really enjoy fighting games, right? So it is kind of hard to say like what actually is the right path. I obviously do think there is probably a talent component, because like, again, LeBron James is just gifted with like athleticism that I'm never gonna be gifted with, right? But yeah, if I started playing chess really young, I would get destroyed by Carlsen 10 out of 10 times. Do you know that though? I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there is something that separates Carlsen from the rest of the people that played young, but I'm not sure what that is, right? It always comes down to nature versus nurture. Is he just built different, or did he have the most nurturing environment possible that led to this outcome? I don't know. I think it's part both, right? I think a lot of people think that, but I mean, that's like a ongoing debate in psychology to this day, which is nature versus nurture. And yeah, I don't think FGC armchair psychologists are going to solve this one. Talent is definitely a factor. You need more time to make up the difference between someone who is more talented than you. At what point is it impossible? So the thing is, like, how do I put this, right? Like I've taught many students, right? And there's some students that can pick up shit like instantly, and there's some students that it takes them a really long time to pick up things. And I really wonder, is it related because these people haven't played fighting games, or they're new to video games, or they're just not predisposed to learning because as a child they had trouble learning and therefore they have trouble learning as an adult? Or is it because they just have talent? I don't know. I really, again, it comes down to nature versus nurture. But realistically, like if you take two random 20-year-olds that have never touched a fighting game, one of them's going to pick it up faster, right? And it's why is that? Because they had a different upbringing, or is it because of genetics? I don't know. It doesn't matter. But if we call that talent, then yeah, talent definitely exists, right? Yeah, I mean, luck's obviously a thing too, right? There's a number of factors. Yeah, but if you look at some of the best people, it's because they're playing since they're very, very young. In general, in anything, right? Learning is incredibly difficult, and in my experience, school, at least here, does a piss poor job of teaching students how to learn. Yeah, I mean, it's basically like you have to self-learn. You have to figure out your own learning style. And then some people struggle, some people don't. I've had to relearn. I mean, I've always been good like self-learning, so it's never really been an issue for me. But then when I how do I say, I got to college as kind of a wake-up call. I'm like, wait, I'm not as good at learning as I thought I was, right? So I had to relearn a lot of shit on like how to learn properly. Oh yeah, that's the Laszlo Polgar study, where they basically said, hey, I'm gonna make my kids the best. I'm gonna design an environment where my kids will become the best chess players ever. And it turns out he was right. He didn't know anything about chess. I'm not saying he didn't know anything about chess, but he was a psychologist. He married someone that was a psychologist. And I mean, I'm probably butchering the story, but yeah, Judith became literally the best female player of all time. And this is kind of the purpose of Laszlo Polgar's study, is to say that, hey, nurture beats nature. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but that study does exist. So yeah, that's definitely a thing. What's up, Fairy, to start us? People also kind of underestimate how much of school is just memorization. So when it comes to actual learning and recall, a lot of people don't have those skills. Yeah, that threw me for a loop, because I'm very good at like understanding and like making connections to things, but in terms of like rote memorization, I'm kind of like mid-tier. Actually, I'm probably like below mid-tier, right? But I'm really good at like understanding concepts and like figuring out how things work, right? I've always been that way, like even in school, even now. But like when I got to the workforce, and you need a lot of rote memorization, you need a lot of other skills that aren't just figuring out how things work. I actually struggled for like the first year of workforce. I'm like, wait, school didn't prepare me for this at all. I just learned how to take tests. I just learned how to regurgitate information, right? Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to get into a dialogue about how messed up how more optimized our school system could be. But yeah, TLDR is, yeah, talent does exist, but is it nature or nurture, and can it be overcome? Yeah, we're not sure. All right, let's look at some shit. Cloud805, this is 2xKO future GOAT. How high is my IQ? Bro, all IQ does is measure how good you are at taking an IQ test. If I had to take it right now, I don't know, maybe I'd be 120, maybe I'd be 130. If I studied for the IQ test, I could probably increase that, right? Really, I think IQ is a pretty bad metric. It's kind of like what's it, Mensa? Yeah, Mensa, the high IQ society. I've met some people in Mensa, and they're like, I would not call them in the 2% of most intelligent people in America, bro. I feel like you just have to get really good studying for a test, and you can join Mensa, bro. I don't know, man. Man, that would make a fun YouTube video. I think if I took the Mensa test right now, I would fail. And I think if you gave me 6 months, I would pass. That's my opinion on IQ. And I think a lot of people would pass that test. A lot of people in this chat would pass that test given enough time. People have said they have a member of Mensa just have a superiority complex. Oh my god, don't even tell me about it, bro. My former boss's boss was a Mensa member. He was I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of him. He was very like dense and did not listen to feedback, and yeah, kind of ran some things into the ground. But yeah, he was a Mensa member, and one thing I said to him, I said something like, yeah, you know, like, I think I could pass Mensa. All you have to do is study for the test. Like, I said that thing about, like, you know, how I don't believe in IQ. He got so fucking pissed, bro. That's probably the worst thing I ever said to him. I really like the guy. I think in general, like, he's really book smart, and what that job required that actually benefited that. But yeah, he did not like me talking about about Mensa. Anyways, yeah, let's talk about Cloud. Fighting games are held to a higher and more difficult standard. I actually really liked him as a person. He was actually a really cool person. It was like a couple jobs ago, so a few bosses ago. I don't mind talking about it, but yeah, he's a cool person. I've actually been pretty blessed with pretty good bosses throughout my career. Anyways, fighting games are held to a higher and more difficult standard than all other competitive games. Deadlock as a shooter MOBA with literal paragraphs on items and dozens of purchasable with crazy builds gets a pass, but God forbid you add emotion input and 99% of gamers crumble. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I don't know how true that is. As someone that played Deadlock, where are we at? Deadlock for 31 minutes. Bro, I booted up Deadlock and I was like, bro, this is the most confusing shit ever. I don't got time for this, and closed the game. So like, I mean, like, I know I could have learned it given it enough time, but realistically, I think people do that for all genres, bro. They're like, I'm like, I know I like fighting games. I know I love fighting games. I know I won't have time to grind Deadlock. And let me, you know, play around, see how this is like. I recognized after 30 minutes, I knew it wasn't for me. And I did not I somewhat understood it, right? But I didn't have a deep dive in its mechanics, and like, I'm obviously wouldn't place very high if I went into ranked. Obviously with more time I could adapt and I could adjust. But I think that's a lot of that. My experience is what happens to when people come fighting games. You know, they like shooters. They try another shooter. They're like, oh, cool. They try a fighting game. They're like, oh no, this isn't a shooter. I don't want to learn, and that's fine, right? I think people gravitate towards what they like. I don't like shooters, and I tried a more complicated shooter. I'm like, this is cool, but it's not for me. I don't have enough time to play it. Yeah, and I think more people are familiar with games like FPS, right? Like, for example, if you're a Fortnite zoomer and then you play something like Deadlock, the transition might be a little easier to transition from Fortnite to Deadlock compared to Fortnite to XQ, right? Because, you know, it's a lot different. But at the same time, like, if it's something that I want to learn enough, like, I don't know, Elden Ring. Like, Elden Ring is my first, how do I say it? It was my first Souls game. And I'm like, this game looks so fucking cool. I want to play it. And so I learned how to play Souls-like games, you know? I don't know. A lot of it just comes down to motivation. And I think people overrate. People talk about this all the time about how fighting games are held to like a high standard, and that's why people don't play them, and we need to make the games more accessible. But I don't really know that's true. because there's a lot of non-accessible games out there that are very, very successful. I think really what's holding back the fighting game scene is like not having a good free-to-play game, because people are fucking broke, especially kids, and therefore we can't inflate the population numbers. Anyways, Doompa. Blocking as a whole has been nerfed in every modern fighting game, and choosing as your response to defend against most situations tends to be more punishing than not. Yeah, that's 100% facts. I feel like in general, offense is a lot easier now than it used to be, and there's like, I mean, this is just a fact. Like, there's no debate here. Like, if you look at, like, I don't know, what's a game that had really good defense? I'm thinking like, you have to go way back. I'm thinking like Street Fighter 4, where it's more of blocking was really strong, but there's also a number of other strong defensive mechanics besides blocking. DBFZ, I don't know how strong it was, because realistically, like, a lot of people are just getting opened up unless your name's Goichi, right? Blaze Blue, I was actually thinking BBTag blocking is really strong. If you know when to push block things, you can really exploit someone's defense. But you could argue about that for a lot of things, right? Like, if you're good at defense, you can know when to take the the mix up. I don't know, it's tough. If I had to say like what games reward, because you could argue like Street Fighter 2, blocking wasn't good in Street Fighter 2, bro. You're just gonna get throw looped. Blocking wasn't that good in Street Fighter 2. Blocking wasn't that good in Street Fighter 3. You had parry, you had all these other like nutty options. I guess defense is strong in Street Fighter 3 because you had parry. I don't know. This is a tough one. It's a tough one. Like, it all depends on like how you interpret this, right? Because if you say like blocking, strictly blocking, I'm trying to think of a game that like it's too hard to open people up just because they block. I guess maybe Uni. Under Night blocking when the game first came out was really, really, really strong, and you had to like finesse the shit out of someone because you could just block and like option select everything. Yeah, Tekken 7 blocking is very good too. That's actually true. Tekken's the best example. Tekken 100% is the best example. Going from Tekken 7 to Tekken 8, people are bitching and complaining a storm about that. So yeah, you know, I'll see it, but I don't think overall, like looking at some other fighting games like Street Fighter series or Guilty Gear, like, I mean, maybe you could argue that. No, you can't argue. But if you're blocking Guilty, you're fucked. It doesn't matter what game. If you blocking Guilty, you're just fucked, bro. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's tough. I could see Tekken. I could see maybe Blaze Blue. King of Fighters, I feel like is always reward blocking though. Like, I'm trying to think of a King of Fighters that like, to me, it doesn't like change that much. Like, I feel like defense in King of Fighter games have been pretty similar throughout the series. Yeah, I don't know. The only like I 100% agree is Tekken 7 to Tekken 8, which is extremely been nerfed. It's extremely nerfed from Tekken 7 to Tekken 8. Yori's the crown jewel record characters? Sure. That's an interesting one. Becoming world class in fighting games and deciding to become a pro gamer instead of using your analytical skills into a degree career job is one of the worst wastes of talent ever. That's an interesting one. I want to read the comments for this, but I think there's a couple of things here. One, I think just because you're world class in fighting games does not mean you have analytical skills that transfer to a degree or a career. I think some people are very strong at fighting games and have pretty poor analytical skills. But I think there's more than one way to be a pro gamer, right? And I think that's fine. And I do think, yeah, I actually would agree with what is his old gamer tag? Fuck, why can't I remember? But this guy's a goat, Verling. But yeah, I do think fighting games give you skills that you can learn in other aspects, right? For me, like fighting games have helped me with like social confidence and like being able to project my like have confidence in my ideas and that sort of thing. Not to mention like how to I guess the other thing is like when I first started my career, I ran into a lot of projects that felt like they had no solution. Like I feel like I was being asked to do the impossible, and then you get into fighting games and you start playing and you're like, damn, like this feels impossible to win, and you know it's not impossible because people are doing it, right? So I feel like there's that, which is like being able to understand how to get better, understand how to do something. You need a very systematic way to do that, and I think fighting games help you teach that as well. But I do think there's like skills that fighting games teach you. I think there's nothing wrong with becoming a pro gamer, but I don't think it's for a lot of people, right? So this for me is like, it's kind of hard to sell, but I do think, yeah, I mean, I think if you were put on this planet to do something and that thing wasn't being a pro fighting game player, then you should do that thing you were put on this planet to do. I don't think you can replace pro gamer with anything else. Yeah. And to me, it's like the way I see fighting games right now for me is like in 20 years, am I going to be a pro gamer? Probably not, right? But to me, it's like I'm learning a lot and I'm developing myself through fighting games and through doing this kind of stuff. And I think it'll eventually lead me to somewhere where I can use my talents even better. I don't know where that place is, right? But that's kind of like how I justify it in my mind. Anyways, Tekken 7 is probably the worst. I'm not gonna talk about Tekken. This is actually facts. Phoenix is the most scrubbiest character I've ever seen in my life. I actually agree. So when I think of a scrubby character, I think of a character that puts all the onus of dealing with the character on the opponent, right? Like the burden of winning is on the opponent, right? As opposed to like someone that has like really strong neutral tools and like very just very strong like whiff punishing tool. I don't know, like I'm talking about like a non-scrubby character, like very strong whiff punishing tools, a very like solid gameplay and punish this mistake hard and that sort of thing. A character that forces the opponent to deal with it, and if they can't deal with it, they lose, I think is a scrub character. I think Phoenix was the best at dealing with that, because it's literally like if you cannot deal with Phoenix, you just automatically lose the game. No, I think it's not even close. No, so the thing with Abigail, like you're talking about like a character that has like 50-50s and really strong mix-up. You still have to like get in. You still have to get in with Abigail. Phoenix, you don't even have to get in. You just have to like, if your opponent can't deal with it, you just win the game. If your opponent doesn't know how to snap back and do a good mix-up, you just win the game. That's not the case for Abigail. Like you have to at least get in with Abigail. But I mean, there's obviously scrubby characters in every game. Sero is actually had my point because Cloud made the other point. I actually 100% agree with this. I think it's the fact that there's no free-to-play games. I think is the number one reason the FGC is so starved for new players, which I don't think, at least compared to FGC 5 years ago, I don't think the FGC is starved for new players. But relative to other esports, yeah, I could see it. I do feel like fighting games are on the upswing, where a lot of esports are generally on the downswing, which is really nice, being in the space. But I do think we could have a bigger upswing if we had free to play games. I also don't know a lack of new player friendly resources. I don't really know what that means. If I knew what that meant, I would make more. I would make more of these resources. And community's general elitism towards casual players. I do think there's that kind of elitism. I always try to emphasize like, hey, you know, fun first and that sort of thing, but I get it. Grand Blue is free to play, but no one knows it's free to play. And it's not like a true free to play game like League of Legends or that sort of thing. Plain English guides, yeah, I could see that. I do need to make like so something I've purposely been doing is like either one, getting rid of jargon, or two, explaining jargon in my videos. But it's tough, dude. It's tough. And when a jargon word can describe something that you could say in a sentence or two, it's so tempting not to to use it. I mean, still, if you're a 14-year-old kid, $60 is a lot. Not to mention all the DLC and shit. Just don't use fuzzy. Yeah, I guess so. That's why I think 2xQ is gonna do work, because it's free to play. 100%. But yeah, if I knew what, you know, actually, I was reading this comment. Here's exactly what I think this means. There's a speed kicks video. I actually think about this comment quite a bit. I made a video of speed kicks when I was learning Tekken. Where are we at? Speed kicks. I think it is this one right here. Damn, it's just at 106k views. This comment right here. I hate that speed kick exclamation on spacing and movement within the space is exactly what I needed to hear, but I would never found this gem of information if I wasn't subscribed to Diaphone. I didn't decide to watch this video specifically. This is what I mean by fighting game knowledge is hard to find. It's difficult to find when what you need simply because you don't know what you don't know, and you can't figure out how to search for something like that, which is, I think is really true. But it's like how do you market that, right? Like like if I'm a new player, right? Street Fighter 6 new player guide, right? Like, bro, there's a million like I don't know, man. Like you got, see, this is what I mean. Like, I don't know what free resources people are missing, or I'd make them. Yeah, you don't know what you don't know is 100% true. But when I think like bro, like if I knew what to make, I'd be making it. Anyways, again, I guess I don't know what I don't know about what new players are looking for in fighting games. Yeah, just watch the ones with the highest number of views, exactly. Anyways. Yeah, a lot of people have hella free resources. Even like this video I made here. I actually want to make more like I actually do want to make more beginner guides. But like this, I cannot believe how many views this video did. The what to learn at every Street Fighter 6 rank, bro. Like that was just a fucking throwaway stream. I thought that was gonna do like 30k, bro. I was just like, let me troll rank for 2 hours, and yeah, people seem to find it helpful. But yeah, I guess you don't know what's useful to people. Yeah, that thumbnail was really good though. That thumbnail was kind of fucking good. What about how to find your local scene and what to expect as a new player? The issue is like, one, that video probably already exists. Let's actually see fighting games. There you go. Yeah, I mean, you kind of, this actually covers that a little bit. This video, right? But like, it kind of exists, sort of. Finding your local fighting game community. I mean, this stuff exists. It's just people don't search. I don't know. All right, anyways, you guys get the idea. I'll look for something with a lot of legs. BBTag. I'm actually, BBTag's the GOAT. BBTag's not only one of the best fighting games, but allows for more freedom than most fighting games as well. 100% facts. There's a complaint about freedom and depth in fighting games, but hey, on BBTag. Yeah, I think BBTag's literally one of the most underrated fighting games of all time. I was like really doomer in fighting games from like when Street Fighter 5 came out till 2019, and BBTag is what brought me back, and I'm like, damn, I actually fucking love fighting games. I think BBTag is one of my favorite games of all time. 100%. This game, like, I don't think you guys understand like how much freedom and depth this game had, because there's so many different combinations of games, characters, and so many different strategies there were to unlock, and the skill ceiling in this game was so fucking high, and there's so much tech and so much cool shit you can do in this game. Don't even get me started. BBTag's the fucking GOAT. Every time the 2xKO people, oh yeah, we need to look at that Rice Industry. I forgot to talk about that. Every time 2xKO people ask me for feedback, I'm literally just like, bro, make this game BBTag. I mean, like, I try to word it in like ways that's a little bit like more convincing, but honestly, if they just made 2xKO BBTag and free to play and league IP, bro, that would be the best game ever. Like straight up. Like there's so many things that BBTag has that if 2xKO added it would be such a better game, bro. Like BBTag is such a fucking good game. Why do people hate on BBTag? Because it's kind of like DNF. When the game first came out, it was broken as fucking shit, bro. BBTag Evo, first Evo. Let me see if I can find it. 2018? Oh, yeah, 2019. It was so broken. Oh, no, I guess it's 2018. Yeah, this is where Fame made Grand Finals of Evo. One of the worst teams to ever make Grand Finals of Evo ever in any fucking Evo, bro. This is a fucking nuclear bomb versus coughing baby matchup. By the way, it's not even bro. Fame's just a fucking goat. But this team was so broken, bro. There was a glitch where if you were Ruby and you if you were any character and you activated CC, which is this like blue flash, and you do a move and you swap immediately, that move is completely invincible. This move is invincible from frames 1 to like 120. And both Ruby and Gord had like the best moves to swap. So that's fully invincible. That is fully invincible. So imagine there's this like the full screen spinny thing is completely invincible for like 2 seconds. This game was hilarious on launch. And there's also DP assist. Oh my god, that was fucking broken as shit too. But anyways, yeah, this game was busted as shit. So I think it was just like just like DNF, it kind of got a bad rap because of that. 1.5 was a great game. They never quite nailed the balance. They released one final balance patch and it's actually kind of a little janky, kind of a little broken. But yeah, 1.5 was probably peak, and then they tried to add too much shit, too many broken ass DLC characters. What is this? We need enforcers to keep the chickens in check when it comes to fighting game takes. I think Kizzy's talking about there's just too much negativity on the timeline. I kind of agreed. 1.5 and Merkava isn't even broke. Stop. Most people that play fighting games have no idea what they want. Yeah, these are like not crazy takes. Third Strike is not a Street Fighter game. A lot of people think that. These are like the most mild takes, bro. I want to see like a crazy hot take. Yeah, these are like, oh, if a character's broken, you shouldn't hate on them. Okay, sure. All right, I give up. Yeah, DNF is a good game. DNF is a good game. But I think there's some clickbait hate culture, but also like the packaging around the actual game was not great. Like there's no mistaking that. All right, I think these are like the most mildest hot takes ever. Yeah, cool discussion. If you like what you see, like, share, subscribe, and take care, y'all. Peace.